Half of the Zanzibar population lives below the poverty line. One of the poorest societies in the world is desperately seeking change. Signs of change and development can be seen in all areas of life, but for many, the only means of making a basic living is provided by traditional sustenance from land or sea. The ocean has been a source of income and livelihood for a large section of the population for centuries. These regions have been fished for years, and sailors from Zanzibar are considered the best on the East African coast. On the beaches, women earn a living from farming and harvesting seaweed. The seaweed, known here as mwani, is prized for its gel and is used in cosmetics, medicines, and even ice cream. It is back-breaking work, but it enables the women farming the seaweed to survive and to have ends meet. Currently, Zanzibar's economy is largely based on tourism. In the past, however, the cultivation of spices brought the greatest profits.
For example, we have like cinnamon tea, we have banana tea, vanilla tea, ginger tea, mango tea, and tea masala. And here we have like banana coffee, we have cinnamon coffee, cardamom coffee, ginger coffee, vanilla coffee. And here we have masala, we have pilau rice, spice rice, we put this for the rice. And here we have tandoori, chicken barbecue, tandoori chicken. And here we have for the meat, curry, for chicken, for fish.
The Arab elite used slaves for developing the spice cultivation, and one spice in particular formed the backbone of the Zanzibari economy: the clove. The 1964 revolution dealt a strong blow to the spice industry. Up until then, Zanzibar was a world leader in clove production.
Tourist industry is number one for income of our country, I mean Zanzibar. So before it was cloves, but now tourism is number one, followed by cloves.
After the revolution, plots of land owned by Arabs were taken over and distributed among residents of African origin. Many of the new landowners lacked agricultural knowledge, neglected the farms they received, and clove production fell by 95%. Fearing the loss of the largest source of income, the government financed clove plantations and adopted a protectionist policy preventing cloves from being sold independently, forcing farmers to sell exclusively to the government.
Unajua lazima ukiuza, unajua mtu anakuwa kukamatwa. Shafahamu lazima uizie serikali. Sasa tunakwenda kimagendo, lakini sasa sheria yake uuze kiserikali. Serikalini wanapima yenyewe, unapoa chako tu.
Kushanya humo zikishafika kama gunia 10, gunia 20 ndo napeleka serikalini ZSTC.
Cloves since time in memory has been a cash crop which was holding the economy of Zanzibar. So that crop, yes, our policy is clear. It is regulated, only government can buy, but nowadays government is providing better price than the open market anywhere you go.
Meanwhile, no such similar monopoly exists in mainland Tanzania, where farmers are free to export and sell their cloves freely.
What is surprising that other crops in the mainland, you find farmers are free. Why the same party is leading a government here which does not allow farmers to sell?
Unfortunately, the government's prices for cloves are often too low to meet the farmers' daily needs, which leads many of them to smuggle cloves onto the black market in Kenya. The cost of smuggling can be extremely risky. Smugglers and farmers risk losing their boats, their cloves, and could even face a prison sentence.
I have heard that a lot of clove farmers, especially in Pemba, they export their cloves illegally. Do you know that this happens?
They export illegally in usually Kenya, Mombasa. To Mombasa, Kenya, but not majority of them. And many of them are led by, they get the capital from rich people of Pemba. but not a normal farmer, a poor farmer, no.
Wale wenye ujanja kazi ambao wanajua ile wakishanunua anajua pa kuhifadhi afu anajua anapitia wapi.
Some of the farmers who are smuggling cloves out of Zanzibar got a lower price in Mombasa, Kenya, and they declared that later on that they made a mistake. They got a lower price. First of all, you have to include the price of transportation, etc. So smuggling there's a cost also towards smuggling. But when they reached Kenya, they got lower price than they're getting from the government of Zanzibar. And the government of Zanzibar is providing a better price than any market.
The monopoly on clove cultivation is rigorously enforced by the authorities. Individual sale as well as smuggling can have serious consequences. Many farmers prefer not to take that risk, but they encourage tourists to buy cloves from them directly in small quantities.
Kama wewe si ndio umekuja naye, ina maana lazima bwana inataka kidogo. Ina maana kwa kidogo kama hivi unaweza nini, lakini kama hili nikikuuzia ina maana hilo siwezi kukuuzia.
According to farmers, the prices offered by government authorities are far too low. They argue that in the open market outside of Zanzibar, they could get significantly more for their harvest.
Watu wakuwa wanataka kuishinda serikali, basi tunaona ile ni bora. Shofahamu, kwa kibei tukichukua. Shofahamu, kwa serikali inajua inapata kitu, lakini sasa kuna mibano yake.
Kuuza kivyako vyako. Ipi unapata pesa
Kivyangu Kivyangu unapata za uhakika, maana kilo mtu atakujia 20,000, 25,000.
Despite reassurances from government representatives, the farmers feel exploited and expect greater support and initiatives from the government. Although clove cultivation does not guarantee large profits, it can provide a stable income. Many farmers cultivate cloves out of pride for this symbolic national crop.
Tunahangaika kwa sababu serikali ipate faida na sisi tufaidike, lakini watuongeze bei kidogo, angalau kila tukitakuwa na jitihada ya kuhangaika zaidi ili tufaidike kwa sote. Serikali iwe na fungu lake na sisi uongo mbaya tutakuwa tunajitahidi kwa sana. Tutafanya bidii.
Na hii kitaka mikarafuu iko miche fulani unanunua, unapanda na unaitilia maji, ni kazi yake.
Mzoefu wa kazi hii. Ina maana huwezi kunidanganya chochote kuhusu masuala haya hizi karafuu.
With the collapse of its traditional export, tourism has now become the main source of income. But there are still differing opinions on economic policy. Government representatives argue that liberalising the clove market is not an appropriate solution and will not bring long-term benefits to farmers.
Majority of Zanzibaris are poor. So they want to make poor Zanzibaris to live very comfortable. The purpose of the government. Before, even myself, I was in another side on this. But after understanding, because now I'm on the ground playing this ball. I'm on the ground. I have clove tree by myself. My parents also have clove trees. So what I know is that it is true that the government helps the farmer.
I want the ZCC to remain there and to be there. We could reform it a little bit, make some adjustments to make the improvement even better. But honestly, I think ZCC is playing a very important role and we should sustain it.
We have to protect all our industries which are revenue-based, directly contributing to the government. Because otherwise, if you don't protect that, then where is the government going to earn the revenue? We'll collapse the government. It's our duty for everyone. It's in the patriotism to protect that industry.
On the other hand, some feel that the government should continue the liberalisation of the market economy that is already underway in other sectors and apply it to the clove industry as well.
Since 30 years now, we have started to embark on a so-called policy of market-oriented economy. And our leaders are saying it. Well, this is the policy now. So if that is the case, then I don't think that it is a good thing to continue to monopolize the trade of cloves. I think cloves should be liberalized. I strongly believe in that. It should be just like any other crop.
The opposition supports and promises the full liberalisation of the clove market. They believe it is possible to restore the former glory of this crop that is so symbolic and important to Zanzibar.
In fact, in our manifesto, we said that if we shall have a government led by CUF, then the clove farmers will be free to sell their cloves anywhere. And they will look for markets themselves.
This will not benefit farmers, will benefit rich peoples of Zanzibar, not farmers. Farmers are the majority, and many of them are poor. Their life become good because this crop is still now in the hands of government. But if rich people will take the clove, they will hold the business of clove, poor people will be poorest and even die.
Although in the past the cultivation of cloves was the basis of Zanzibar's wealth, today it has to fight for survival.